Welcome back to ABC24 This Week. You know, it's been a long time since a mayor has proposed an increase in the property tax rate in the city of Memphis, but the new mayor, Paul Young, says he doesn't have a choice. There's a $30 million shortfall, and if we want to get serious about improving the quality of life in Memphis and reducing the crime rate, we're going to have to get serious, and that's going to cost a penny or two. We're not sure exactly how much the property tax rate would need to be raised. We're going to find that out this week. But let's first show you how the mayor addressed this. It was as part of a celebration of his first 100 days, but he dropped the bombshell there. Let's watch.
When I go to City Council next week to present our budget, I'm going to ask for a tax increase. I'm putting it out there straight and plain so you hear it directly from me. There's no secrets.
You may not like the idea of a tax increase, but I like his style. Go ahead, Chris. What are your thoughts about this increase that appears to be imminent? We'll see how City Council receives it.
He's in a really tough spot. I like his style. I like him being forthright. You have a real problem with the budget, right? Because 70 to 80% of the city of Memphis budget goes to fire and police. You're not going to cut that. If anything, we need to bump that, right? So you're already dealing with a very limited percentage where you can find cuts. If you don't get additional revenue, you keep spending, you take a little bit about the rainy day fund, then you have two issues. You have potentially your bond rating getting hit, which increases the cost of borrowing. You can't allow that because we have a good bond rating. I think it's AA. It took a while to get there. And then secondarily, you have the state come looking again. So he's in a really tough spot. The timing couldn't be worse, though. We have all these issues. It'd been much better to demonstrate a few big wins, where we're getting our value for our tax dollars. Instead, it's just been one crisis after another. He's in a tough spot. I don't have any answers. I would love to see this. Obviously, my reflexive response is coupled with a very serious evaluation of where you can get some cuts, but the money's needed.
Well, that's what I heard a lot of rumbling about, not just in the newsroom, but out at Target, as a matter of fact. I heard people talking about wanting, now he wants to raise our taxes, and I want to hear they should audit the city first. I want to know, how the money's being spent before they would start talking about increasing my taxes. What are your thoughts?
Which is why Mayor Young, right now, as we speak, is gathering data, information from the people who have knowledge of these things. And I am certain that by Tuesday he'll have a much clearer picture. Secondly, I don't think people object to paying for services, but they got to be receiving the services that they're paying for. Thirdly, and I think Chris mentioned this, I brought my umbrella. If I've ever seen a rainy day, y'all, these are some rainy days. No, I'm serious, y'all. The city of Memphis has more than $100 million in a rainy day. It's pouring down rain. It's time now. It's time now. Address the rainy day fund, take some of those funds to address the needs. Well, I said here's the fourth thing. Memphis tourism, I read an article where they were sitting on $26 million.
They are.
Now stop it, y'all, stop it. It's time for everybody to come to the table. If you're serious about Memphis being a major world-class city, take some of those funds you're sitting on and bring them back into the city to pay for the services that the poorest of the poor cannot afford to pay for. It's time now. If the city of Memphis has reserve funds, get some of those. If the pilot recipients, corporations who have not met their requirements under the pilot agreements, it's time to reach out and claw back some of that money. Do everything you can do before you put taxes on the backs of people who can least afford them. I'm sorry.
We had a soundbite with a woman from Whitehaven this week where she said it's expensive being poor.
Yeah, and it's true.
And we think, yeah.
It is.
Well, we talked about the rainy day fund. It was just within the last week or two we learned that $10 million had to be taken from the rainy day fund to help pay for a shortage they weren't expecting within the fire department. And so I think there's just such a cynicism among taxpayers out there that, man, before you come at me for more money, prove to me you've really done an accounting of where the money is spent. Then, if that's not enough, I'm going to change the subject real quick. On the same day, the new superintendent of MSCS, Dr. Marie Fagans, comes out with a request for $25 million for capital improvements at schools, which I think we all agree are necessary. But what are you hearing about that, Otis?
Well, I'm hearing, to me, which is a pretty alarming thing here, multiple sources tell me that she made this request and did not tell the Board of Education anything about it. especially the chair of the Board of Education. And they are not happy about that. Because they should have been in on this. If she's going to ask the city for that amount of money, how are you doing that and not talking to your bosses, really? So that was just one problem. There's an additional problem that's not directly related to the $25 million request, but that was a contract that the outgoing superintendent, Tony Williams, had to be a consultant going forward to help Marie Fagan sort of get used to. I was told, again, by multiple sources, that she has nixed that contract. And again, the Board of Education is not happy about any of this. I predict that as early as this week, probably by Tuesday, there's going to be a showdown between Superintendent Fagan and the school board about just how much she is doing that is not being checked by the Board of Education, which is her bosses.
Very interesting. Reverend Whalen, this is your wheelhouse, as they say.
Well, we don't have time. Okay, so all right. So here's what I would do, because I've been approached by a couple of city council members just for my thoughts on what do you think about the superintendent asking for $25 million? Well, I'm like, okay, before I would even consider it, the superintendent would have to show me that it's absolutely necessary. She would have to show me that she has eliminated the top-heavy staff at central office by reassigning personnel from central office out into the schools where there are shortages for teacher assistants and teachers. She would have to prove that to me. She would also have to show me that she is taking steps through her bosses, I smile because through her Board of Education bosses,
you were one
that she is pursuing other means of raising funds. I know I'm running out of time. Y'all, you know how many yellow school buses there are? Too many to count. We could sell advertising space on the sides of those buses to bring in all manner of revenue. All the board would have to do is say, yes, that's what we want to do. And trust me, corporations would be willing. Well, right. See, I told you we didn't have time.
First
I told you we didn't have time. But I would say, if I was a city council person, before I would even consider it, the superintendent and the board would have to show me steps that they're taking to generate revenue.
And of course, it's a big deal, Chris, because as we know, the city of Memphis has not funneled any tax revenue toward the school system since the school system surrendered its charter more than a decade ago.
Right. Yeah, more than a decade.
And we've seen this movie before, haven't we?
And now there seems to be some receptiveness on city council to helping the school system out, but
Which was my
understandable
point.
reticence.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the school system has its own budget, right? It's $1.3, $1.4 billion.
Bigger than the city's budget.
It's bigger than the
Much
city's.
bigger.
We have the highest property tax burden in the state. Mayor Young is already talking about raising revenue via tax increase, which is a huge burden, as you pointed out. Now the school system comes calling. I don't think this is going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either. But again, she should not have done this if it's true, and I believe it's true. Multiple sources said it's true. You didn't talk to your school board about this. How are you doing that? And you just got in the job, and you're ignoring your Board of Education and going out and making decisions on your own. That's just not a good look.
It's not a good sign, for sure.
If Marie Fagans was watching the search process, if she was keeping up with the news before she was hired, she knew she could do whatever she wanted to do because this board is 90% incompetent to do the job that they're elected to do. So that's why she did it.
Well, it's still not right to do it. Come on, there are protocols.
Could you tell us how you really feel, though?
Talk about school board, you'll get him fired up every time.
does.
All right,
Knows all about it.
we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about things going on in Nashville as the session gets closer to winding down at the state capitol in just a